Part 2. Stonecrest's worst enemy. African American is black folks' own worst enemy. Black folks is African American own worst enemy. Humans can be humans' own worst enemy. And this ain't coming from any book I read or something someone told me, but having a human experience is if though God and the devil is one and the same. Hey, bear with me. Just hear me out on why I say that. From my experience, 4+ decades of living, it's if though you can't have one without the other. It's almost like a car battery. You have negative and you have positive. Without the negative, it's a good chance you can't start your car, your truck. And from my human experience, each person has this good and this bad about them. And it's a thin line between love and hate. Now notice the duality. Up, down, left, right, love, hate, rain, sunshine, black, white, do or die, wrong or right, male, female, masculine, femininity, and the list go on and on. And due to this duality, you can't have one without the other. That's why I say it's like one and the same. It's like one and the same. It's like one and the same. Now, I want to make a quick example. There's been plenty of times, we've had some rough days as people, all right? Just imagine a rough day you've had, a time where you really wanted to sock someone, right? And there was a part of you saying, you know what? Don't do that. It's not the right thing to do. And there was a part of you saying, you know what? This person could really use a good bing. And you had to make the choice or find balance or remain neutral, I should say. Some let the left get the best of them. Some let the right get the best of them. Whichever you want to put on the left, whichever you want to put on the right. And this is how we make our decisions throughout life. Okay? So each one of us is having a human experience to say, you know what? Do I want to do good? Do I want to do bad? Do I want to remain up? Do I want to remain down? And the best gift of all is freedom of choice. Many of us have a choice to say, you know what? I could do or I can die. That's the power of choice. You may not like the choice, but you always have a choice. You always have a choice. Now, I'm going to go off in the deep end a little bit, all right? I'm going to go out in the middle of the ocean, all right? I'm going to quit splashing in the beach. Some know Lucifer to be God's favorite angel. And one has to ask the question, right? If God is all, and God is love, and God created all things, then what could be evil? What can be evil if God is love and God is all? What can be evil? Some would say the Satan, Lucifer, the adversary. Now, someone had to create this adversary. Now, this is just, again, logical thinking. Many of us don't apply critical thinking, and many of us are not logical. Many of us just emotionally driven, emotions. And a lot of times we make permanent decisions based off of temporary emotions. I'll say that again. A lot of time we make permanent decisions based off of temporary emotions. Now, one would deem their way of thinking and the way that they live as truth and facts, because who am I to tell someone how they should feel? I feel this is right, and this is why I do it, and who am I to tell you how to feel? So based off of how you feel, you're always right. Think about most women, right? Or Western world women. They tend to make more emotional decisions based off of how they feel. And who is us to tell them how to feel? So therefore, they would deem themselves as right most times. Most times, right? We can agree on that? No? Bear with me, guys. Like I say, we are in the deep waters. And back to this whole favorite angel. Okay? The Most High God created all, and God is love. So what is evil? Is it evil when a lion decides to go and eat a gazelle or a buffalo? Is that evil? When you walk into the mailbox and you step on an ant or maybe a roly-poly, is that evil? If a snake go and eat a bird's egg, and I'm going to stop right there. You guys get the point. What I'm ultimately saying is, if the adversary, or if Satan represents the adversary, and Lucifer just happens to be this adversary, or for whatever reason he bucked the system and made a decision to say, you know what, I'm going to go and do what it is I feel I need to do. Ultimately, what I'm trying to say is certain people was designed for certain tasks. If the adversary was made to be a destroyer, then who are we to say you don't supposed to destroy? Now, let me come out of the deep waters. The point I'm trying to make, guys, is a lot of decisions that are being made, we don't understand, and many of us don't like because we don't understand, and oftentimes we fear what we don't understand. So let me start to wrap things up and come to my closing. Satan, Lucifer, depending on which part of the Bible you've read to hear about this adversary, we'll just say the adversary for both Lucifer and the Satan. We'll say the adversary. This is the same entity that had to get permission from God to tempt Job. So what this says about the power of evil. The bad guy had to go to the good guy to get permission to tempt Job. Not only to tempt Job, but to tempt the Lord, Yahshua. Excuse me, y'all. The FedEx man just ran up on me. So where was I? Yeah, so the bad guy had to get the permission from the good guy to tempt him. And all of this is going to tie back into us being our own worst enemy, man. Because even though I say Stonecrest is Stonecrest's worst enemy and blacks are African-American own worst enemy, guys, we have to find balance. And the best gift many of us been given is the freedom of choice to be able to make a decision. Not all of us. It's safe to say the majority of people that's living that have acquired some type of knowledge have to make decisions. All right, guys. So in my closing, just want to remind you all, not only Stonecrest is Stonecrest's own worst enemy, but many of us can be our own worst enemy. So for every rainy day, there's a sunshiny day. If every day was a sunshiny day, then what's a rainy day? It's like you can't have one without the other, you know? So out of all of what I said, I say to many of you that's watching, I offer the solution. And The solution that I offer is to surrender the ego. You must surrender the ego. You must surrender the ego. The alter ego, you must surrender the ego. The ego is not the real you. If you use evil to fight evil, you create more evil. If you use hate against hate, you created more hate. There is a yin to the yang. Yin yang. Too much pride is part of the 7 deadliest sins. We set our pride aside. We learn to work together. There are power in numbers. There's power in numbers. Hurt people hurt people. The answer is to surrender the ego. Surrender the ego. For every action, there's a reaction. For every dark day, there's a bright night. For every bright night, there's a dark day. Life can be very intricate, very intricate. A lot of toss and turns, a lot of confusion. And the crazy thing is, I'm going to say this real quick. You go in a jewelry store, they got lab-created diamonds now. Lab-created diamonds. So when you look at the holistic way, the natural way of things, I like to refer to that as God way, right? Okay. Earth has its way of creating diamonds. But then you have mankind that study that way, and then they make their version of it. All right. God has a natural way of procreating. All right. Some call it love making. Most babies were created out of love making. Now you could go to the sperm bank, pick whichever sperm you want as a woman, and have the sperm injected in you to produce whichever baby of whatever male you've never even met. So, you have the natural order of things, and you have what I call the the deceiver, or the deceptive version of things. The deceiver, the deceptive version of things. A GMO vegetable, a GMO fruit. So on one end, you got nature's way, the original way of the way it was intended to be, and then you have the genetically modified version. So you have a real one and you have a fake one. So we're back to the duality again. Things have gone so far. Things have gone so far now, you can't tell the winter from the summer and the summer from the winter. And it's steadily getting worse. You can't even tell the men from the women and the women from the men anymore. These are the facts. And the way that our freedom is diminishing, like I spoke in part 1 about our freedoms is diminishing, meaning the Constitution, the rights to free speech. It's happening right up under our nose. You don't even supposed to speak on certain things. If a man tell you he's a woman and wish to go by this pronoun, it's like it's a crime to say, hey, you're not a woman, you're a man. You was born a man. You was born a male. Vice versa. You was born a woman. You're not a man. How am I supposed to feel? I'm born this way naturally. But then I have to get you to play along with my lie. It's just crazy. It kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. That's why I think it's I'm not saying it's facts, but that's why I think it's like one and the same with this whole God and the devil. Because on one end, just, last but not least, let's just say, here's a quick example, and then I'm going to wrap it up. You as a parent, you birthed a child. You love your child. That child is a part of you. 23 chromosomes, right? Child is a part of you. You love your child. You raise your child. Your child grows up and decides, hey, I don't want to be a boy anymore, Mom. I don't want to be a boy anymore, Dad. Or vice versa. Mom, I don't want to be a girl anymore. Dad, I don't want to be a girl anymore. Vice versa, right? You love your child, but now you have to make a decision. Now, what decision are you talking about? Do you play along with the lie? The lie would be you was born a girl, so you are a girl. You was born a boy, so you are a boy. Boys grow to be men. Girls grow to be women. So I love you on one end. That would be the good. That would be the God side, right? That would be the good. You my child. I love you. All right? Your friends love you. Your family love you. We love you. That's the good. That's the God side. But then what would be the devil side? We have to accept your lie. What's the lie? That you was born a girl, but then you transitioned and made a choice to be a man. Or you was born a man, but then you transitioned and made a choice to be a woman. You see? So that's how it ties back into what I was saying earlier about one and the same. On one end, I love you. That's the good side. And I know that you was born biologically a male or you was born biologically a woman. But on the flip side, I love you so much that I have to buy into your lie. And that would be the bad side or the devil side. So it's like one and the same. Like, it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet. To be continued, part 3 and the final part. Catch you next time.